Hey guys, Bryan here from Liquid Concepts. So today we're going to talk a little bit about spoilers. And so what we are doing is we're matching the existing carbon fiber that the customer already has to all of the other aftermarket pieces that he's already bought for the car. So let's go ahead, let's get started on trying to figure out what we're going to be doing, how we're going to be holding this, and of course you're going to see very quickly this thing is very large, so how we're going to attempt to dip this. All right, so let's take a look at this spoiler. So as you can clearly see, this is a very long spoiler. Now again, it's not very wide, but it is a long spoiler, so it's going to go from end to end on the car. Now of course, the customer is only more focused on the top side, which is going to be this right here. So we are going to be pretty much dipping all of this right here and then blacking in the back side. So a couple of things to point out. This does not have a very good way of holding it. Trying to hold this thing, I have thought about tons of different ideas. I mean, I was holding it like this at some point, and then I'm like, how am I gonna let it go? I mean, there's too many different variables, and it just never worked out. So we went back with the tried and true tape tabs on the actual backside of it. And so pretty much we're just going to use our tape tabs here, tape it down really good, and then as you can see, we've got our other side right here. So that way we can clearly hold this like so, and then we're able to adjust it and keep our angle and do all of that to get everything dipped. Now, of course, on a part like this, a couple of things you definitely want to keep in mind. You have to have a large enough tank for this dip, because if you don't, then you're gonna have a line somewhere that you're gonna have to piece it together at. So of course you gotta have a large enough tank. And then of course the other thing is that this is actually not going to be a very easy dip, mainly because this is gonna be a very long piece of film. So there's gonna be a lot of areas that could happen to have underactivation, overactivation, or something like that, because as you're spraying your activator, you may kind of go like this, or you may go faster and then slower. So there's a lot of different things that can happen on these larger items like this. Now, of course, with something like this is actually going to be a fairly easy dip, mainly because we're actually going to be using our automated arm that we have, and so that does really help on getting everything smooth and easy, and pretty much it's going to be a lot better for the overall dip whenever you have a part that's this size. Now, of course, whenever we're doing parts that are smaller, I'll still hand spray everything, but whenever it comes to a large piece like this, that's where the automatic activator sprayer really comes in handy. So let's go ahead, let's get our film laid out for this. Of course, as you can already tell, we've got everything already prepped out, so it's already been sanded down, primered, painted, and then now we're ready for the dip itself. So let's go ahead, let's get the film laid out, lay it on the water, and then show you guys the dip. All right, so because we've got everything a lot larger and we're needing a little bit more space, we went ahead and moved to the different table, so that way we had a little bit more space to go. And because we are going end to end on this exact tank, we are actually going to go in and measure it just to make sure that we get it exactly the right size that we need. So now that we've got it set right here, let's go ahead and cut it, and then also cut it down to size on how much we're gonna need for the whole thing. All right, so now that we've got this laid out, we can see how much film that we're going to need for the dip. So let's go ahead and give ourselves plenty of room for extra. And then let's cut, hopefully, mostly a straight line. And then we may use this for something else later. And now we have the piece that we need to dip the front of the spoiler itself. So let's go ahead, let's get this picked up, laid down into the water, and get to dipping. So everything looks like it came out really great. So that's exactly what we wanted. Of course, I did have a little bit of trouble getting this thing down in there. It wanted to actually float on me, so you definitely want to make sure that you account for that as you're pushing it down into the water. But overall, we've got a really good wrap all the way around the part. Got really good wrap even on this backside back here, which again, we're going to be blacking that out, so it's not a big deal. But overall, I think everything came out great. So we'll go ahead, throw it in the rinse station, get everything rinsed off, get it dried off, and then clear coated, and then of course show you guys the end results.
All right, so we've got everything all clear coated, and this spoiler came out looking amazing. So as you can clearly see, we've got the carbon fiber that goes all the way across the top side, which is exactly what the customer wanted. And then we have also came back in and we have blacked in this back side back here, just to make sure that everything looks really nice and professional. And then of course, we've got the carbon wrapping around the front side, wrapping around the back side, and looking really great. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video. If you haven't already, definitely hit the subscribe button. We'd always love to have you subscribe to our weekly tips on anything hydrographics related, including things just like this right here. Also, if you're looking to use any of the products that we used here, definitely check out the links in the description below. It's going to have links to the website where you can check out all of the material that we use, from the clear coat to the primer, even the film, and everything. It is all there on the website, so definitely check that out as well. And of course, also always love to hear from you on your comments, how this thing came out. Of course, you saw on the dip, it was a very, very large dip, and it was definitely not the easiest, but we got it done. Everything came out great. Always love to hear the comments on how you think everything turned out on this right here. I'm Bryan from Liquid Concepts, and this is how we customize your world. We'll see you guys next time.